No.
Welcome to another episode of Sweet 915. It is NFL Sunday, but we are glad that you tuned in with us today. Today, we're going to talk to Miss Julie Loving Scott, realtor, U.S. Army veteran. Thank you, ma'am, for having us, for coming. And I can't forget about my lovely co-host, Miss Fedora. How you doing, Fedora?
I'm great. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm here. We're gonna do this today. That's what I'm
All
talking.
right. I hear you.
Yes. So Miss Julie, thank you for coming again. Could you tell the people a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Well, thank you all both for having me on today, Curtis and Fedora. As you've already stated, I'm a realtor here in El Paso, Texas, and I am a veteran, wife of a disabled veteran,
Hmm.
and mother of an active duty soldier who's married to a veteran. And I'm a resident of El Paso now. As of 2012, when we got here, we decided to go ahead and stay. We love the weather. It's nothing like the East Coast. So we
Hmm.
decided to stay. So we are residents of El Paso, Texas. Um, let's see, what else? I'm originally from Georgia. So I'm a Georgia Peach living a Texas Star life.
That's
All
what's
right.
up. That's
Um,
what's up.
and just glad to be here and ready to get in here and see what I can do to help us do better as far as a people, as a community.
Hmm. Okay. Well, thanks again for having you. I mean, thanks. I'm saying having you. Thanks again for coming on the show.
Hmm.
I know you probably have a full schedule with phone calls and everybody calling you about selling and buying houses here in El Paso because as you can see, the real estate is growing here and they're pushing further out in the far east area and also the west side. So hope you get a piece of that pie and you're able to uh, improve and grow your grow your company. So yeah. So we're gonna get started. And we're going to talk about a little bit. So first thing, what advice would you give people who are experiencing financial hardship during the pandemic?
One thing I would say to people that are experiencing a hardship here in El Paso or around the world, wherever you are during this pandemic, the beauty of this pandemic, it has given us the opportunity to sit down and stop moving and stop being so busy. And I wrote down some notes. And a part of that stopping is one, just stop fretting. It's here. And if you look at history, people have lived through pandemics, they've lived through recessions, they've lived through depressions, and not everybody succumbed to those things. Somebody
Hmm.
came out to tell the story. So stop fretting, settle yourself, and calm down. Stop spending. Uh, I talked to some people and they're like, oh, I put on some COVID-19 weight. And that was because they were spending money, eating junk food, eating out as much as they can. Because it was like the moment they said we couldn't go out, everybody was trying
I
to find an
wanted to.
excuse to. Yeah, you wanted to go out. So
Yeah.
let's stop spending money. If you were already experiencing a hardship, or if you were already one check away from being bankrupt or in poverty, then stop spending. Take advantage of the organizations that are actually handing out food and they're not asking you to fill out a
Yeah.
form. They don't want to
Mm-mm.
know how much your income is. They don't want to know what your address is. They just want to know, does your family have something to eat? So stop
Mhm.
spending as much as you possibly can.
Hmm.
Also, I'm getting ready to say something. I know I'm gonna hurt some people's feelings. I'm gonna offend some people, but stop lending money. Stop.
Mm.
It seems like the people,
Fedora, let
it
me get
seems
my
like
$20 back and you owe
Oh,
me.
boy, bye.
right now, okay, it seems like the
If my boss
people
is
that
like, they
are
owe me
in the
more than 20.
most financial debt have the biggest hearts, and a lot of the stress that
Mm.
people are feeling is because they feel like, oh well, I have to lend it to
Absolutely.
because they are whomever to me. And
Hmm.
I'm empowering you today to say no. If they ask you, can I borrow, do you have, yes I have it, but I need it myself.
Yeah, yeah.
um we're going to take on the airplane mentality. We're going to put our mask on, and only then, after my oxygen has started to flow, then I will assist you with getting your mask on.
Good
Um,
analysis right there. Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Stop buying outside of your needs. Right now, if you are not in a situation where you can buy once, and we have been blessed with Siri, Bixby,
Mm,
Google, Bing, Microsoft. Google and define need and want. There's a big difference between the two.
mm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just to FYI, just to give an example, no 6-year-old child needs $150 pair of shoes. That's
Oh
not a need.
no. Mm-mm.
You
No,
done hurt
I know
somebody's
people that
feelings
do
on
it.
that. You done hurt somebody's feelings.
Yes.
They
And
need to be hurt. Shoot.
I'm going to tell you to focus. When you sit down after we stop fretting and spending and everything, now we can focus. We can sit down and allow our eyes to adjust. We are in a dark, unknown place. So just imagine when you get up out of the bed and you go and you got to walk in the dark to find the light switch.
Mm.
Pace yourself. Give your eyes and your mind a chance to focus and refocus so you can clearly see and get an idea of how to move forward. There are so many resources available online. There's so many organizations in the local cities that are trying to help people during this time to either stay on their feet, get back on their feet, and prepare for recovery. Because one thing we can all say, you don't have to like 45, but 45 is all about money. And he wants us to recover because it affects his money also. So
Hmm.
allow yourself to focus. And then we're going to start writing. I advise everybody to take the next 30 days starting today. But if you're one of those people that have to do it by the calendar, October 1, start tracking your spending. Be accountable to yourself and your partner or even your children. I found out personally when you get the children involved, if y'all want to be held accountable, get a child involved in your accountability because they'll say, well, you told us that we're
Hmm.
not buying what we want. And per the definition, want is this, this, and this. And that is a want, mom, dad. That's
Hmm.
not a need. So
Right.
allow the children to hold you accountable and track your spending for 30 days. That means get a receipt for everything. If you go in the store and you get one stick of gum, get a receipt for it and track every penny. And then after you do that, we're going to readjust. We're going to review that spending history because we're going to find the hole in our wallet and in our pocket. A lot of times, and I'm telling you this from experience, I have been like, bruh, not broke, but just bruh, because of bad spending habits. But when
Mm.
we found the holes in our wallet, it was something as simple as um, stop going out to eat after you buy $500 worth of groceries.
Okay. But you're so
It-
tired. You don't feel like cooking after you put all that food up.
and that's why you do like mama and grandmama and them did and buy
Uh-huh.
that sandwich meat and that sandwich bread. And just to FYI, you all, even though thank the Lord that we've come up some, I still shop at the bread house. I try my best not to pay regular price. Yes,
Where's
Curtis,
the
I saw
bread
that
house
question.
at? They got a bread house in El Paso?
I
Yes,
know.
it's
I
right
was
there
gonna
on
say, where is it?
Zaragoza.
Oh,
Right there
that
on
one. But it's
Zaragoza.
never open. I live
Yes,
on the
it
opposite side
is.
of town, so I never know when it's open. I used
Yeah,
to
I'll
try
buy
to go
old
when I was
bread.
on
I'll
that
buy old bread
side.
because I'm gonna eat it so fast and make my grilled cheese sandwich and stuff. You know.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
So
teach your children how to cook. Believe it or not, getting in
yeah.
the kitchen with your children and showing them how to build a sandwich, how to make a deli sandwich at home, how to make a deli wrap at home. Your
Mm.
children will be all in. They will buy in to you recovering. And when they see and the unity that comes out of the family doing this together. So I would say let's go back and review. We're going to stop. We're going to focus. We're going to write it down, and then we're going to readjust. I hope I answered the question.
Yeah. Hey, you gave
Deal.
I mean, hey,
Yeah.
they listen. You took it back old school,
Uh-huh.
so that the newer generation can relate to what's going on today. Like you said with the sandwich meats and stuff like that. But see, that's what I did when the pandemic first hit to save money. I just bought food and started cooking. But like Fedora said, sometimes I put up that food, I'm like,
You are
Man, I gotta
tired.
take it now. I gotta take it back out to cook it. Man, look, let me just grab a burger real quick.
Yeah.
I'll worry about that tomorrow, and I'll put it out like like we used to put the food out that I'm
Uh-huh.
going to cook for tomorrow. I would just go ahead and put that out and just go ahead and cook it and try to make it last for like 2 or 3 days, whatever I'm cooking. That way, I'm
Mhm.
not spending a lot of money. And I saw the change, as you said, in my account. I saw the change, but then the shoes be popping up on my Facebook, and it's
Oh
like,
my goodness. You don't
man, they
need
Turn the
shoes. Where you
alerts off.
going?
$20.
Turn
That's
the
the
alerts
sale.
off.
Okay. Where you
Turn the
going?
alerts
You don't
off.
have anywhere to go?
Turn the alerts off.
Okay, I'm gonna turn them off.
Yeah. Or just be strong and
I
don't
tried,
pay
but do I
attention to it.
tried? But it came back up after I said no. I'm not gonna do it. And like 2 or 3 days, it pops back up. Like, Curtis, I know
Well,
you like
think of it like this. Where are you going? Nobody's going to see them. So, like, where are you going to wear those shoes? Like, nowhere.
you.
So, don't
Or
worry about
make it a
spending that
goal
money.
that you're
Yeah.
saving for.
Yeah.
Okay,
Fedora just said it. Where you going? And so let's make it a goal and let's
so
we
Like,
could
I'll
make
take
that your future travel.
so I'll take
Um,
that 70 something dollars and put it in the savings account and
yeah. And for your
okay,
trip, like, because I have a fund, like a trip fund that,
okay.
if I'm going to want to take a trip eventually, then that's going to be my fund for my trip. So the things that I'm no longer buying, it goes to my trip fund whenever that'll be, who knows, but by then I have a nice lump sum of money to be able to travel somewhere.
and the
Well, thank
shoes
you,
will be
lady.
on sale in a
Yeah.
couple of weeks. You know, and a part of that stop wanting the instant gratification. From the way it sounds, Curtis, I mean, do you really need another pair of shoes? I'm just asking, needs versus wants.
He like, why y'all jumping on me?
Oh Lord.
You're just the example for
You're just
this.
an example. Yeah.
You're just an example. We're just talking about us right now.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, I don't need another pair of shoes, and you're correct. But I like shoes, you know what I'm
I don't
saying?
know.
And
And
it
we
makes
do
you
tend to spend emotionally. I
right.
know, like, sometimes I can be an emotional shopper, and I'm
Hmm.
aware of that. So when I am aware of that, I have to say, back away. And it's funny because I'm a grandmother now. And so every time I go in the store,
Oh,
I
yes, I
go to
know.
the baby section, and I kept telling my daughter, and you have to have somebody to hold you accountable. I'm not buying anything else. And then I came home last week with like 4 or 5 more outfits. And she was like, Mom, you said that you weren't going to buy anything else until we go, a visit. And I was like, I know, but I just couldn't help it. It was on sale and it was something, that I got. And she was like, well, okay, but don't buy anything else. So now I cannot buy anything else
Mhm.
because it won't fit in the suitcase. I won't be able to put my stuff in there.
Oh
So
Jesus.
I'm like, yes, pray for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
I hear what you're
yeah,
But
saying.
I
I just
can't talk about you all because you know what? I had to get somebody to hold me accountable. Okay. And I believe in being transparent. So the
Mhm.
truth is my husband is the real saver in this relationship.
mhm.
Okay. I'm a certified spendaholic. Hi, my name is Julie, and I will spend your money.
I
So
love
I had to get a friend to assist my husband with holding me accountable because y'all, my hang up is Kohl's.
Oh, I love
Because
Coast too. Yeah.
you know how
They
to
give you
give
the
you money.
$10. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and
Yeah.
then they tell you come back, and you
Uh-huh.
say to yourself, "I'm just going to spend just what's
Just
on
the $10.
this,
Yeah, whatever
just
the
the ten
amount they
dollars."
gave you. Hmm.
Yes, just know. Okay, so since you shop at Kohl's, you know for them to give you $120, you know
Oh
how much
yeah.
I had to spend,
Oh
right?
yeah, girl, you was doing
Okay,
it.
I did it. I did it. They had jewelry on sale. So I was
Mm.
buying gold and I was buying silver accessories because I told my husband, say, I want to change out from costume jewelry to real silver and gold. But
Mhm.
my girlfriend had to check me. She said, hold up, Miss Coach everybody to save their money. Isn't this hypocrisy? And I said, no, it's not. I can afford to. She said, I thought the rule was just because you can afford to doesn't mean you should to. I said,
Uh-huh.
I shouldn't do it. I should not do it because I could save that money. I could put it in an investment. I can
Mhm.
put it in my Roth IRA because I'm not going to be this young forever.
Right.
So I need money to be able to sustain me. And it was emotional spending. I didn't realize that the pandemic for me triggered me to spend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And so I had to start saying to myself, so now my thing is when I get that itch to spend, I
Mhm.
write a check out or go get a money order and take it to my financial advisor for her to deposit into my Roth IRA. And
Mm,
All
it
right.
it satisfies that itch because when you see your Roth grow real
right.
quick and their investment. So
Mm,
yeah, find some other way to use your money, but a lot of people I think didn't are not taking full advantage of. Some people did because they posted. I was in a Freddie Mac class, and they said that savings just this year, and it was in the month of March. They did the report. They had already seen a 20% increase in savings. America does not save money.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
Let's
Yeah.
just tell the truth.
Right.
But they said they saw a 20% increase in savings accounts just because of the pandemic
Hmm.
restricting us from being able to go out.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
I can imagine.
Yeah, my insurance company gave me a break.
That's good.
What'd you do with that money?
Well, they just cut you a break. Like they say, you say, well, we're gonna for your next bill, you get like $45 off, and then they take
Mm.
$45 off for your next bill for because I don't travel a lot because of the pandemic. So they're like,
Mhm.
because you don't travel, we see the decline in travel. This is just a discount we're going to give you. But they weren't the first one to do it. It was another insurance company that was doing it, and then they jumped on board because everybody's like, "What about USAA? What about USAA?" And I think they kept hearing that from their customers, and then next thing you know,
Mhm.
they started giving us discounts. Like,
Mhm.
we're going to give you a discount this month. But they weren't the first insurance company to do it to give their drivers a break because they're not really traveling, so they're not
Mhm.
a risk right now. So yeah, I think that
That's
was a good
good.
thing. Yeah. So I don't, like I said, I just put it back into my insurance. I don't take it out and spend it. It just
See,
goes
so
back.
you're cushioning your insurance in the future with the
Right.
money that they're saving you. So that's pretty
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
To use your money, but a lot of people.
Was that you?
That was a playback. I don't know what happened
Oh,
with that.
we're good.
Mhm.
We're good. So, what are some of the more recurring financial pitfalls that you see,
Okay,
and how do we prevent ourselves from falling prey to them?
I'm not going to talk about anybody but me. But if you see yourself,
Hmm.
just say ouch and we're going to do better.
Hmm. Okay.
When we get liberated, we get set free from this debt. We work real hard, we get debt free, or we get the debt down and the credit score goes up to where we can do what we want to do.
Hmm.
We forget about the struggle of what it took for us to get out of that debt.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We forget what it took for us to increase our credit score because it's easy to lose 35 points,
Yes.
but it takes 8 months to get the 35 points
5
back.
points back. Yeah.
I still don't understand the math on that, but okay, whatever they do.
Hmm.
So I see people get out of debt. Okay, hold on. Like I said, I was going to talk about me. I've seen me get out of debt and do that one thing that gets you back into that situation. For instance, let's go back to Kohl's.
Hmm.
So you're out of debt, you got a great credit score, and Kohl's says, oh, not 15%, but we'll give you an additional 30% off if you apply for the Kohl's card today.
You fell for that.
So you got your $120 coupon. You got you're in there on a Monday and they're doing the 10% off for the military. And you say, well, I can apply for this card and I'll close it before the first payment is due. I'll pay it off and close it.
Hmm.
No, when the first payment comes due, you say, well, I'll just make the minimum payment and I won't use it anymore. The lies. So the thing is, we should remember what it takes for us to get out of debt. And let me applaud all the people that have never been in debt, the people that have been perfect since the womb. God bless you. But I
Hmm.
want to help us regular people who get out of debt and do that same thing to get back in debt. And what it comes down to is not mismanagement of our funds only, but it's a mismanagement of ourselves because it's our emotions that tends to get us in these situations.
Mhm.
Okay, I can say for myself, emotionally, I have lied and said I'm not going to let people borrow money anymore. And my husband and I just sat down last year and decided that we were going to create our own benevolence fund. So we have a certain
Mm.
amount of money over to the side that once that money has been borrowed out, no, I don't have any money. I don't have any money to give to you. I don't have any money to give to you. I have money. I just don't have any to give to you. Um, it's not like I'm rolling in it. It's just that the number one thing I see that we give ourselves into a bad situation. Either we're mishandling the funds that we have,
Mhm.
we're emotionally spending, and we become other people's ATM. I had to
Mhm.
adopt the saying that I am not your plan A. Catch
Mhm.
me on D, G, Z,
Mhm.
but I can't be plan A. If
Right.
Mhm.
somebody has a habit of mishandling their funds, then the way I can help people not ask me for money is I say, okay, well, you got to bring me all of your bills and your expenses, and I need to understand why you need to borrow money from me again.
They get
People
offended
tend
when you
to,
do that, Julie,
yes, they do.
and they
And
say,
they
"Nah, don't
tend,
worry about it. I'm good."
there you go. You see how well
So
that
then they'll
works?
figure it out.
They'll figure it out because I'm
Right.
not your plan A. I
Yep.
am not the ATM. I am not Atom, as I say, and
Mm.
I am not going to be your plan A. So the financial pitfalls I see is we get out of debt and then we,
Get back
whether
in it.
it's emotional and or it's okay, I don't I don't know. I'm going to ask for forgiveness later if I'm not allowed to do this, but I'm going to say this. Those of us that have tan skin, we have a habit of wanting to wear it on our back, and that's why we live in lack. So
Mhm. I like that.
we got to get out of trying to show somebody I have something.
Mhm.
I
Mm.
mean, I figured out how to have a Dooney and Burke without paying Dooney and Burke money.
All
I
right.
figured out, oh yes, yes, I had to, oh yes. Because I believe in
Golly.
living what you teach.
Right.
Don't teach one way and you live in another way. If you all see me with a Louis Vuitton, please know I didn't pay $4,000 for it.
Okay.
I didn't pay 400 for it. I'm not
Mm-mm.
doing that because I mean that was my goal. I said
Mm.
when I made a certain amount of money, when we hit a certain income bracket, my goal was to go to Arizona and get me a Louis Vuitton. But I heard a bishop say that. He said, the reason you're in lack is because everything you got is on your back. And I was like,
Ooh,
wow,
that's word
that's
though. That's, I
right.
mean, yeah, I mean, and then the younger kids, like we need to start teaching our kids early because I think back and say, wow, if I had the mentality that my daughter has now that I've
Wow.
tried to instill in her, I would have like so much money. Like by the time she's ready to really like, move and buy a house or whatever, she can pay for the house pretty much. So I'm been instilling in her like save your money, have a goal, have a plan, look forward to it, do this, and this, in order for you to have yourself set up. And right now you're young, you don't have any bills really, so you
Hmm.
can really do it. You
Yeah.
don't have, the extra of like, okay, paying for school fees and stuff like that. So now is the time to go ahead and do it. You work or and do what it is that you need to do. So don't worry about buying this or buying that.
Right.
You don't need it. So just save and get that, what they say, that bag and get it up, get it
Mm.
thick, and you can do what you want to do, and continue to let your money make money.
Yeah.
Because I
And
think a lot of
that's
times when we get that lump sum, we don't know how to let our money make money. We don't know how
Mm.
to invest.
and that's one of the things that my husband and I we had a discussion about it. That our children, we were so busy trying to make sure our children didn't know how broke we were that we messed them up. And so now we are finding ourselves unteaching and
Hmm.
reteaching, um, especially our middle children. I have a set of twins in the middle, and
Mm.
they are the example of all the things I just told you.
Mm.
They now we're having to restrict our giving so they can feel the weight of being responsible. So that would be another pitfall. If you know spending all of your money is not good, not teach our children to spend. My mother was a saver, But my daddy would tell us, "Oh, don't worry about it. I got a job." My daddy owned his own business and worked at Firestone.
Mm.
But he forgot to tell us two things. One, Firestone might leave the entire state of Georgia.
Mm.
Mm,
Two, he was going to get old and get injured and not be able to work one day.
Right.
mm.
So us not preparing our children for reality. Let's show our children how to be balanced. Let's show them what a budget looks like. Let's show them now. Um, the other pitfall is we want to show our children this unbalanced world, I would say, because we want them to see us get and get and get and have. So all they see is that we're working and we get, we working that we get. But let them see the saving part. Let them see us again, not get the instant gratification, but
That
delayed
sacrifice.
gratification.
Hmm.
It's like cooking. Let your children let your children taste a turkey that was cooked in a microwave. Have y'all tasted one of those?
No.
Mm-mm.
Disgusting.
I can imagine. I'm like in a
I just about to say
microwave.
something
What?
about this
Dis
delicious or something.
no, disgusting. So a turkey has to be cooked one of two, well, three ways. You either grill it,
Fried.
fry it, or bake it.
Hmm.
If
Hmm.
you, I don't care how they try to dress it up on television, you all, that turkey does not taste, it's not a good taste in your mouth. Is, or should I say the texture is not, and you're like, I mean, I see that it's a turkey. My mind know it's turkey, but it doesn't taste like turkey. The texture's off.
Hmm.
To get a turkey to cook right, you have to cook it slow. You even have to thaw it slow. You know how
Hmm.
you had that one auntie
Mm.
that would try to thaw a turkey out the night before, and
And then it's
everybody in the
not done.
family, yes, and
Mhm.
everybody in the family talking about, that's auntie, that's her
Yeah.
turkey. Number
Uh-huh.
three is hers. That's the one.
Don't
So
don't don't do it.
that's how we got to show our children this is how money makes money, this is
Mm.
how money grows. And don't, you can live in the moment, but you don't have to live to the penny in the moment.
Mm. Mm.
You got to
Well,
Yeah.
stop me, Curtis, because you get me on a roll. I can
no,
talk
no,
about
I was
all
going
my
to share.
mistakes all day.
I was going to share something that I do with my daughter, being that she's a senior in high school. Before she went to high school, me being in high school, I took care of all of my high school necessities. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
Yeah.
I had to work, and I paid for everything. I paid for my books, fees, whatever the case may be. Once I started working, because my mom was like, "Okay, you got a job now, you can handle it." So, being I grew up, poor or less fortunate, um, I established an account for her. So we have a joint account with one of the banks. So every month I would put money in this bank account. I put money in, and then one time she was doing a lot in school. Like she was in the theater and she was some other club and she did dance. So she was like, "Daddy, mom said that I'm gonna have to ask you for some money and because she can't pay this and that." And I said, "Okay." So I called her mom. I said, "Listen, I have this account that I had saved up for her, and if you really need the money, I'm gonna tell you to go to the bank and I'll give you access, and you just get the money that you need out of that account because that's her savings account that I have for her. So so she needs money for school because my thing is I really didn't want her to work. I was like, I want you to focus on school. I don't want you working. I worked because I had to, you
Hmm.
know. But me, we created a way of life. Whereas we want you to get your education first, build the foundation. We're going to teach you those things along the way of saving and the needs and the wants because I do the needs and wants as well. Hey, is that a need or is that a want? Daddy, my hair needs done. This. Well, how much it costs? Oh, it's $100. I said $100. You want for the weave, not to get the hair done. Now it's $75. I said I had to catch myself. That's my
That's a
daughter.
need.
You know what I'm saying? So I had to. But back to the savings thing. Once I let her know that I had that account, it was, Daddy, can I get $20 out of my account? Daddy, can I get $20 out
Mm,
of my account? Daddy, can I get, and then before I know it,
it's
so
gone.
yeah. And I looked and I said, hey, Didn't I tell y'all don't go in that account unless you talk to me first about it? She's like, well, Daddy, we need the money. And she told me to go in my account and get. I said, she didn't put no money in that account.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to be talking to me about the money because I put money in the account. So I said, okay, so this is what I did. Julie, this is what I did. I ain't put no money in the account for about 3 months. She looked at it and said, Daddy, there's no money in the account. I said, there ain't gonna be no money in the account because what I'm trying to teach you is you need to save. You don't need to, there's a difference between needs and wants.
Yep.
Because you want a hamburger every day because you don't want to eat what your mother cooked. That's not my problem. I said, we grew up, you ate what your mom cooked, and that was it, or you didn't eat. So you need
Swallow
to get that in
spit
your head.
and go to bed.
Right. If you don't like something that she cooked, you better get in there and make you a sandwich. You know, I mean, she's cooking for you guys for like 3 days. She cooks like I said, you cook. So she cooks enough for them to eat. They want to eat one time out the pot, and then she wants to go to Chick-fil-A or well, she stopped eating McDonald's, but she wants to go to Chick-fil-A. And I'm like, you gotta think about the money that you could have saved if you would have just ate what your mom cooked. It's okay to eat
Mm-hmm.
leftovers. There's nothing wrong with that. So we have the understanding now. We have an understanding that my dad's just not going to give me money because I'm calling and asking him, or he's going to let me go in my savings account, and I still put money in there, but I don't tell her now. She
Mm-hmm.
thinks that I put money in there. She doesn't even know there's money in there. I'm like, So like you said, we got to teach our kids that. So we talked about, and I told her, okay, you're going to be a freshman next year, so you need to be thinking about not messing up your credit. Because as me, like you're saying, Julie, it took me a long time to get my credit straight because the credit card, once I started working, the credit card started coming. I was like,
Oh, it's the
yeah,
worst thing.
yeah, so I pay a little bit on, and then that paying the minimum wasn't getting it. I was like, I just paid, and the minimum wasn't getting it to where it needed to go, so you could see some decrease in it and what you already created. And I'm like,
Mhm.
ah, so
And they prey on college kids. So tell
yeah,
her. I think I frightened my daughter from. I told her my story when I was a college student and what I had done and
mhm,
how my mom got me out of debt and took my credit cards away from me and kept them. But I was smart. I never did get an American Express. Now I know some horror stories with American
yeah,
Express, child. I
Yes.
know some horror stories with that credit card. So I was smart and never did get one of those. But yeah, Discover and all the gas cards. Remember they used to have gas cards like
yeah,
Chevron
yeah.
and stuff like
Yes.
that.
I got
Child, and
caught
that
in that. Yeah, the gas card. Like, yeah,
yeah.
I'll
Mhm.
pay it next month. The next month came
Mhm.
and
And
I was
it's so
like, oh,
high because you gotten all that gas. And in college, you up and down the road or
right,
what
right.
have you, and before you know it, shoot, your gas bill is like $1,000.
Yeah.
you
And I'm only
you
paying
like,
20 on
wait,
it on 1,000, but
yeah. And
you
then
see
it
it
keeps
don't even move. I'm like,
yeah. So yeah, it
yeah.
was bad. So I
And
think I scared my daughter into telling her my stories. And so when she got in college, she never did want a credit card. So
Right,
her problem is trying to build her credit
right.
and
because
that's
she
the other
doesn't.
thing.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say. Another thing, because we were not properly taught how to handle credit. Yes, I'm in real estate. Yes, I know a lot about financial situations now, but I'm still learning. Like this numbers game that I'm learning. I am so excited. I'm currently working on my financial coaching certification. As soon as I get that, I'm gonna let the world know. But there's a numbers game that we have to play. And like for instance, Fedora, you talking about how your daughter needs to build credit. Because if you have to borrow somebody's money, they want to be able to see your history.
Mm-hmm.
And the other pitfall I see is where people, they know they have bad credit
Hmm.
Mm.
and they still apply for a loan for a car,
Oh.
and or they get upset with the realtor when the realtor says, hey, okay, let's do this and this, and let's get your credit straightened out, but let's get the house before we get the car.
Hmm.
Because your debt to income ratio, because we don't understand credit and we don't understand how they look at credit, you're upset because they told you, oh, you only qualify for $100,000, and you're like, but I got the income and I can do this and I can do. No, that $80,000 truck you got with the 14% interest on it,
Uh-huh.
that's your house, sweetheart. Yes, you could have gotten a $250,000 home, but you're riding in the other half of your house. And
Mm.
now they're
Oh.
upset and they're crying, and it's because the pitfall I'm trying to highlight here is not listening to those that are willing to help you.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to hear the truth about the situation. And another thing that as Curtis was talking about, how you had to take your time and rebuild your credit. If it took you 30 years to tear your credit up, and we tell you it's going to take you 12 months to fix it, do not throw your hands in the air and give up. You've done. We're going to undo 30 years of damage in 12 months. You should be
That's great.
rejoicing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but people, the that instant mentality. Well, I want it now. I want to be able to do this now. I
Now.
don't want to have
Mm-hmm.
to save. I had a client, bless her heart, and I have her permission to share this. I won't give her name, but um, I had to work with her over a 2-year period. When she finally decided to do what was necessary to get her home, we had to put her on a spending fast for 5 months. 5 months, y'all. You would think we had ripped her heart out and tap danced on it,
Mm-hmm.
because we were like, you can't spend money on this, and this is your allowance for going out to eat. Because her and her husband, they literally went out to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And
Oh,
people don't
wow.
know that underwriting looks at how you use your debit card and decides whether or not you're worthy of a mortgage. So if they see that you
Ooh.
eat out breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, NFL, you hosting the NFL party and you spending $300 for the
Right.
NFL party, they're looking at your spending habit. Yes, you have the money.
Mm.
Yes, you have the job. Yes, your rent is more than a mortgage. Great. But they're looking at your irresponsibility with your money. So if you have someone that's willing to sit knee to knee with you and walk you through it, don't look
Mhm.
at the discipline as restriction. it's
Mhm.
it's just discipline. We're equipping you and teaching you how to be disciplined and have a better life. When somebody sat me down and showed me how a credit card weighs more than my house does,
Wow.
Wow.
right, I know I throw everybody off with that, but yes, your credit card carries more weight than a whole house. And if
Wow.
you misuse that credit card, you'll cause your credit score on other things to be reevaluated. They'll decrease your credit line, they will
Mm.
close accounts because you are being irresponsible with that credit card. So being teachable is a pitfall that I see. People say they want it, but when they hear, okay,
What you
at
have to
this
do to
time you're
get it.
not right, you're not
Mhm.
able to do, or you're going to have to do, like for instance, that 30 days of tracking your spending. I lost a client over, I said track your spending for 7 days, and
Oh,
they said
wow.
every penny. I said yes, every penny. I need to know where you've spent your money for the past 7 days. So you're going to do it for 1 week.
Mm.
And they quit. They left me. They don't answer phone calls, text messages, or messages.
Oh, well.
Yes, because
When they
of
ready to come back, they'll come back. Or
So
the
not. I
Julie,
mean,
discipline.
yeah.
so Julie, talk real quick about, because you brought it up. Talk real quick about the credit spending, because I know on Credit Karma, every month I check my credit score, and it'll tell you the usage your usage of your credit card spending is this percentage. Does that affect purchasing a home or other things that you need that you need to purchase as well? Say you want to get a house, a new car. Do people look at that and say, hey, you got a 70% credit usage, even though you pay the card off or you're paying it and it's below a certain amount of what you're allowed? Does that affect your purchasing a home or a vehicle, or I don't know, a loan or whatever?
Because you're
Mm.
getting a loan based on your credit score, and your credit score is affected, I believe it's 30% on credit utilization.
Okay.
That's
Mm.
how you use the credit available to you. So if you have one credit card, not even counting the other 10, but if you have one credit card and it's over 30%, that credit card is a problem for your life. And you need to pay it
Mm.
down. We need to keep our credit card balances 28% and below. And some of them, you need to just pay them down and not pay them off. And this is something A good mortgage lender will sit down and go over your credit report with you and tell you, okay, I need you to pay this bill down to this much. I need you to pay this one off. And no mortgage lender is going to tell you to close an account right away. They're not going to do that because closing accounts sometimes can have a
Negative.
bigger negative impact than positive. So they will tell you to pay it down or pay it off, but keep that line of credit open, especially age. So it's not just utilization, it's how old that credit card is. But once you start paying things down, once I got this information, again, I'm just use me. And if I help somebody along the way, it'll be worth it all. So when I found out about the numbers game with the credit utilization, we bank with GCU. And I was just trying it out for kicks and giggles. Y'all, we were on vacation. And I was like, you know what? We paid this credit card down to, I think we had it down to like 20%. We only owed 20% of the balance that was available. And I called and I told my husband, I said, let's just see if they'll do it because we decided we wanted to stay where we were another week. I called them and I said, hey, I just wanted to know if you all can bump up our credit another $10,000. They said, hold on, Miss Scott. Is Mr. Scott available? And yes. And they pulled our credit. And because we had paid it down, it had boosted our credit score. We had that balance down for, I think, 3 or 4 months. And it was like 3, maybe 4 months. Because we had it down at 20% or slightly below, we got that $10,000 added to our line of credit that night. She told me, she said, give it a couple of hours and it'll show available. Wow. I said, shut the front door. So the next morning when I woke up, I had another $10,000 available to me. And my husband like, what did you? I was like, I was just checking to see if we could do it, but I found out about this. And so, but it's a numbers game. And when you have to use other people's money, just know that those people are going to look at how you handle the money that you were given before. Yes. Because when we use Visa, MasterCard, even American Express, with all their little, I used to work for American Express, so I know why you didn't get it. Yes.
Girl, did not dodge a bullet.
That card was and Discover. But people don't look at the fact that how you use those things make other companies look at how you use those things. They need to see that you're credit worthy. Credit worthiness. That means we can trust you with this money and you'll pay us back. So yes, to answer your question, Curtis, yes, credit utilization is very important. Just because you have a $30,000 limit does not mean you used a whole $30,000.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Know that you can pay it down to 28%. I've seen some that say 30%, 29%, but the magic number is 28. If you pay it down to 28%, then you are in good standing.
Okay. Write that down.
Yeah.
28%. Yeah.
Now, how do you feel about you know how they consolidating your bills and paying them off and then paying that one payment to, whomever you got the loan for, the bank or whatever? Is that also a good way to get a handle on your credit to stop occurring all of these like 25%, 24%, the interest that they put on the credit cards, and you kind of like never pay them off if you don't go ahead and pay it off and do that? Is that good?
Okay. So let me preface again. I am not, repeat, a financial advisor. I am going off of experience, my personal and professional experience. So I just want to put that out there.
Okay.
But what I have seen and what I have learned from other financial advisors is, again, it's a numbers game. So for instance, if credit card A with the 14%, or I'm sorry, 29% interest rate with the annual $65 fee is your oldest card, we need to keep that card. And I know that's scary, but we need to keep that one because the age of that account is so important to us. So what you would do is you would make sure you pay off the ones that are with the smallest balance, even if it's that one that's the oldest one, and you start snowballing your payments. For instance, so the one that you owe the least on with the highest interest rate, that's the one you want to pay off first. The one with the highest interest rate is what, because I did my financial advisor made us go through Financial Peace with Dave Ramsey. So
Oh yeah,
we
he's good. Mm-hmm.
uh
I've
he's
done that.
bananas. He is crazy. But the one with the highest interest rate, we want to pay that off as quickly as we can. And then you take that money and snowball it to the next one. And the one that has the highest interest rate, once you get that paid off, that's when you wait and it's 90 days, wait 90 days, let it sit there, and you call and say, hey, Mr. Credit Card Company, I've paid this account off. I've been with you for the past 3 years, 6 years, and I have a good payment history with you. I need you to lower my interest rate. They won't say yes to you if you don't ask them. And I've
Mm.
had that happen. So, because you want to keep the card that's the oldest for as long as you can. And if you're consolidating, you got to be wise about that. Now, that is something I would tell you to sit down knee to knee, either with a mortgage lender or best person to talk to is a financial advisor, someone who knows exactly how the credit card game works, because it depends on the interest rate, it depends on the balance that you owe on those cards, and um, based on what I have been taught, it's the one with the highest interest rate that we want to attack first, because that's where you're losing the most money. Because like Curtis was saying in the beginning, you're paying the minimum balance, or you're paying the minimum plus another $10, but you still don't see the balance coming down like
Mm-hmm.
never, because you owe 29.997%
Mm-hmm.
and the $65 annual fee. So I would recommend you all, just a FYI, a lot of financial advisors will give you an hour for free. I would go in there and bombard them with all these questions for free 99. And then, see how you can work out something where you can afford to pay them to help you navigate through this.
Right.
So, yes.
Okay. So we're gonna transition a little bit. We're gonna talk military.
Okay.
Since you're a relocation specialist, how far out should service members who are planning to retire begin trying to resolve debt for the best rates available and purchasing a home?
Today, how far out? Let's
Mm-hmm.
just get our credit right now. Don't wait till you dropped your packet and you got 12 months, 24, 36 months.
Mm-hmm.
Let's work on it today. You already know that you have credit challenges. And who's to say that you will successfully make it all the way out before, if you're in the military, we already know what we got a war that we've been in for the past 17 years
Yeah, something like that.
that
Yeah.
everybody keeps forgetting about, that we're still at war.
2001, Afghanistan,
Mm-hmm.
2001. Yeah, we
Because they
got
don't
one.
see it on TV. It's
Yeah.
not going on.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's 19 years we've
Mm-hmm.
been in this conflict.
Yeah.
So I would say pull your credit, and let me advise this to what we see as consumers on those consumer credit sites. That's not what lenders see. They use different algorithms and programs to generate your credit score. So it depends on what program they're using to score you. You got FICO, you got Vantage, and you got like 100 plus other different scoring systems that are used. But pick a site that you're going to stick with and review your credit. If not every 3 months, do it twice a year and start paying attention now. Don't wait until I'm about to retire, because that's not the time. Um, Curtis, that was one thing with my husband being med boarded out. We had a 5-year plan. Med board happened
Mm-hmm.
year 2 of the 5-year plan.
Oh, wow.
We were not prepared for him to be med boarded out. We were not financially prepared for the shift from when they med boarded him out. We thought we were going to get a certain amount from retirement. And then we found out we had to be paid through VA out of another pot.
Mm.
And it was a 4-month gap where we didn't get any money.
Oh
Yep.
my God.
And yeah, and
Yeah.
that's who
People
had
don't
to
understand
carry us
about the
through.
med board process when they
I know,
retire.
right? God. Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yeah. And
That's
so I
crazy.
would tell anybody from that experience, that emergency fund that you hear um, financial advisors talk about, Dave Ramsey talk about, that money is so important. You don't
Mhm.
need just $1,000. You need to also have at least 3 to 4 months of living expenses. How much does it take you to run your household? So,
Mhm.
Curtis, my answer to that would be they need to start planning now. Let's start putting this money away now. If it takes you $7,000 a month to run your house, then you need to have $21,000 sitting over there in an emergency fund that nobody can touch.
Mhm.
Unlike Curtis's daughter savings account, we don't need to have access to it right away. We need to be able to jump through some hoops to get to
Yeah.
it. But it's the same thought process. Let's put it over there and forget about it.
Mhm.
An emergency is our pay stops. We got a government shutdown where they're trying to decide whether or not they're going to fund and pay for the military because we experienced that
Mhm.
right as we were med boarding out. We went through
Mhm.
one of those government shutdown.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
not going to pay
Uh,
y'all. We're going until after we signed what is the House and then Senate had
Yeah.
to sign.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I would say start planning now. And also, let's go ahead. I would tell anybody get a journal. Journals are important and sit down as a family and decide how much house do you want. Let's find out how much house you can afford right now, how much house you can afford in the future based on the income you expect to have when you retire, and start preparing for that now. But if you are about to get out, it's not too late. Just know you're going to still be in the planning process once you get out and
Mhm.
be okay with that. Plan. I tell my clients that want to buy a house, like we're actually living it. I don't I think you saw it, but we put our house up for sale because of the new home that we want.
Mhm.
And I am living, y'all say a prayer for me. We went from 3,114 square feet that I am living in a 984 square foot apartment
ooh,
because of
But
what
you're
I
okay.
want.
yeah, that's sacrifice.
So
So yeah.
yes,
Mhm.
let's sacrifice now in the short term to be able to have in the long term.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. I would share with you this as well. So I was retired. I retired. However, you can only live off that check for so long. But what I did was, what some of the senior NCOs told me, pay myself. So I had an account where I paid myself. So that account was kind of fat when I got out, so I didn't have to worry about. And I still had a little bit of trials and tribulations when the check stopped, and I was already working before I retired. I didn't wait till I retired. All my leave was over, and then I said, "Oh, I gotta get a job now because this is my last check." Because they split the last check. What's my last check? I got to figure this thing out. So what I did was I started working. The last 30 days, I got a job of my leave time. I started working, so I had funds coming in, and then I still had my little account that I had on the side that I was living off of. But I would also tell soldiers this, like you said, fix your credit first, but know when you want to purchase a house. And just because the VA gives you a $250,000, they're going to back a $250,000 house loan, does not mean you need to get a $250,000 house. You don't need to spend all of the money that they gave you, or they're
Yeah.
saying we'll give you as a VA loan, we'll back $250,000. That doesn't mean go and find a $250,000 house. It means, okay, like you said, look at what you can afford, what you want, and then say, okay, I, I'm willing to get a house that's worth 180. You know, so
Can I jump in right
go
there?
ahead,
Because you
go ahead.
said something really important.
Hmm.
The the biggest misunderstanding, and I've seen this even with officers, and I thought the training that the officers get, about finances and everything, and things that I've heard that senior NCOs get information about how to operate with their finances. The certificate of eligibility that's issued by the VA does not qualify you automatically for the loan.
Mm.
People have the misunderstanding that, well, I'm retired or I've served, I did over 180 days and I'm eligible for to use the VA loan. you're eligible to get the certificate of eligibility, but you still
Okay.
have to complete the loan process. The
Mm,
mortgage lender has to find you credit worthy to be able to get that mortgage loan.
good
So
point.
just because you're eligible for the certificate does not mean you're eligible automatically for the loan. You still have to meet the credit requirements. That includes your credit, that includes your um, residual income that you have, not residual, that's reserves. You have to have reserves
Mm,
and you have to have the income. So, and right now, we can get a whole lot more house than, because before it was like 250, then it was like 275, and then they bumped it up, I think last year or 2 years ago, to like 460 something.
mm,
No, you can get a whole lot more, but
mm.
you have to qualify for that home. So
Mhm.
that's a myth. I really want us to get that information out. The certificate of eligibility does not automatically qualify you for a VA home loan.
Oh.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
Oh, oh, go
you
ahead,
had
Chris.
something, Fedora?
I had a question.
Go ahead.
And it's in reference to the housing part of it. If you're already in a house and you want to sell your house, um, how should you go about trying to sell it? And then another question, what if it's in an area that um is, I guess, not, now is established not to be such a good area for various reasons. So
Mm,
how would
Okay.
you, you know, direct a person to sell their home?
When you are preparing to sell a home, you've done step one, you've made up your mind you wanted to sell it. Now step two is have your realtor do a market analysis. This is not us appraising the home. This is to give you an idea of what the market activity is dictating this home is worth.
mhm,
When we do those market analysis, then what we can do for you is create what is called an estimated net sheet. This is to give you an idea of what you can expect to happen for you at closing. Either it'll show you that you need to bring this much money to closing to buy yourself out of this house, or this is what you can expect to net and receive at closing. So, market analysis and estimated net sheet. Now, the reason it's an estimated net sheet, we don't know what's going to happen at closing until after we've done all the negotiating, and the title company will show you before you close. This is what you can expect. Either you're going to be bringing money or you will be receiving money. Now, for the situation, if you're in a home that's in a less desirable area, there's a market for that. Like right now, if you all see that we have less than 1,000 resale homes on the market in El Paso, which is unheard of from my understanding. I have only been here since 2012, and I heard that this is not the norm for El Paso. And right now, if you wanted to sell a house, I've seen homes that were just not, the home itself wasn't desirable, but it got multiple offers because people are buying. And right now, we're being flooded with investors here in El Paso. We got investors here that are looking to buy homes. So if you're in a less desirable area, then again, start with the realtor. We're going to do a market analysis, and then we're going to evaluate and give you our recommendations on what we need to do to set this home apart to get it sold. Because even if you're in what you feel or someone else feel is a less desirable area, it may be a come up for somebody else. So never look at it as, well, they said it was this. It might be that. But for instance, there's some renovation that's going on with homes in Central. And I have driven through there in broad daylight early in the morning. I'm like, oh my Lord. But I see what the investor is doing to the house. He's gutted it out, and he's brought the plumbing, and he's brought the electrical up to date. And it's a beautiful home. And some lawyer or somebody that works downtown is going to want to be in that home. So
Mm,
if you feel that that home is in a less desirable place, then it's going to be all about what you're able to do to make it aesthetically pleasing to that next buyer. What can you afford to put into that home to make it desirable?
mhm.
Mm.
You know anything about well, because with El Paso we don't have to worry about like flooding areas, like flood zones and things of that
That
nature.
that's okay. And back to Central, and even on the
Okay.
west side, the west and the east side, because there's a spot over here on Montwood.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I declare every time it rains, it's like a swimming pool. It's an Olympic sized swimming pool of
Mhm.
water
Mhm.
that floods that area. So a lot of people think that because we're in the desert, we don't have to worry about flooding. But yes, you do. We do need to check the FEMA map. Have your realtor check the FEMA map, and you can request. Um, I believe the city can assist you with finding out whether or not you fall into one of those flood zones, because that is important. Because if you're going to sell the house, you want to be able to indicate that that home is in a flood zone, that so that new buyer will be aware that they need to purchase flood insurance.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Right.
And if you've experienced flooding, you will put that on what is called the seller's disclosure. This is the document that the seller fills out before they put the house on the market, to say, this is what I do or don't know is and isn't wrong with the home, any claims that have been filed on the home, any additions that were done to the home, any major repairs that were done to the home. You would indicate on there that these things were done. And I would strongly advise that you note that I found out that per FEMA, the FEMA map, that this home is in a flood zone.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm. That's
So,
good.
so before we close out, Julie, I just got one more question for you. What is the biggest myth about realtors?
That we get paid to show houses.
I
I
know
kid
that's
you
not
not.
true. I know that's not true.
Okay.
I have had people say, "Why won't you show me this house? Don't you get paid to do that?" No, I do not. I get paid to complete sales transactions.
Hmm.
That's what I get paid to do. Um, a lot of people don't understand why realtors are not in a rush to show you a home. We ask you 10 questions, and the number one question is, okay, are you pre-approved? Not pre-qualified. I don't know very many realtors now that are asking if you're pre-qualified. Pre-qualified, that means that the lender, you probably went online, filled out an application, and you put in this information, and your credit score was pretty decent. And based on that information, they said, okay, based on that, we can pre-qualify you for this amount.
Mm.
Pre-approved means no, they have not only looked at your credit, but they verified your income. They verified your ability to repay the loan. And now we know this is how much home you can afford. If
Hmm.
you have not been pre-approved, I got a saying, these heels don't move until you're pre-approved.
Woo.
I am not moving and running out to show anyone a home that is not qualified to buy a home. If you want to just see homes, then you should be going to open houses. Um, you should be going to the parade of homes, but
Mhm.
realtors do not get paid to just go open the
Show
door
you
and
a house.
show you a home. I mean, you can pay us. And I just recently took a course that my mentor required me to take. And I found they asked us to calculate what our worth is per hour per my desired income. It's $175 an hour for me to just go stand and open the door for you.
Mm.
Wow.
So if you want me to show you homes, then yes, for 175, I'll be glad to give you an hour of my life to drive across town to just show you a home. So
Mm.
it's not that we're being mean, it's not that we're being rude. It's just it costs us time. We get paid on a commission base. We don't have a base pay plus commission. We don't even
Mhm.
get paid what servers get paid. We don't get the what is it? What is it? I don't even know what it is now. I
$2
know
or
back,
something.
is it
Mhm.
275 or something like
2
that?
something. Mhm. Something like
I
that.
mean, we don't
Y'all
even
don't
get
even get
that.
that. Wow.
Yeah. So it's not that we're snotty, it's not that we're being rude. It's just we have to guard our
Show
time
me the
because
Yeah.
money.
our time is money. And that's
Money.
it. I need you to
Show
show
Yep.
me
me
the
the
money.
show
Either
me the
you're paying
money.
cash, and we require, if you're going to pay cash, then you have to have a proof of funds letter from your bank showing that you have those funds
Ooh.
in the bank. So
Mhm.
I mean, don't get offended when the realtor's like, no, but the open house is scheduled for Saturday or Sunday. You can
Wow.
come back then if you just want to look at homes. Um, yeah, so that's one. And the other one, why can't you get me in this house? Um, I want to rent this house. Okay, but if the property management requirement is that you have a 620 and make three times the amount of the rent to rent that home, I can't override that on the application.
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
If I ask you up front, how's your credit? And you tell me, oh, it's good. Great. I'm gonna I'm gonna take you out to see these home, and I do charge a premium for renters. I have a fee. Um, if you want me to work for you and you're renting a home, I'll be glad to do it. But yes, there is a fee for me assisting with rentals again because I don't get paid to show houses.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have bad credit, you need to let us know up front and give us the opportunity. If you hire me,
We'll
I'm going to
help
call
you.
and ask, what's the score required? What are the requirements? This is the service I provide. This is that
Mhm.
premium service I provide for renters is I call it ahead and find out who can take your 560 credit score with you making $10,000 a month. And we're all looking, trying to figure out why you make $10,000 a month and your credit is 560, but that's something different.
Mhm.
Um, but the 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 realtor cannot make the decision if the property management has strict requirements that they've discussed with the landlord. And that's another thing. People think
Mm-hmm.
property managers just pull these rules out of the hat. No, they do not. They have a form that landlords or property owners fill out, and they set the standard of what can and cannot happen in a home. For instance, I had somebody say, well, see if you can make them um, accept my dog. I can't. It says no
Mm-mm.
pets allowed. I can't. Well,
Wow.
tell them it's only 20 pounds. It said no
No pets.
pets. I can't
Yeah.
fix that.
Not if
Right.
you pay certain, because certain people will say no pets, but they say, but you have to pay. If there is a pet, you have to pay, so much money a month for having a pet or what have you. But if they don't have that clause in there, no means no. Yeah, no means no. And I know, and being military, well, prior military, a spouse, you have to give up that animal, and it was hard. Like when we moved from here to California, we had to give up our animal because where we were moving, the housing did not allow animals, so we couldn't take our animal. We had to go. So yeah, it's military people are used to that, but I know civilians may not be, that's a part of the family. Well, then that's something you have to look at when you are looking for a place to make sure that they're pet friendly.
And that's the
So,
other thing that people that's I've heard that, well, it's not just a pet. This is a family member.
yeah.
If it has four legs
Thank you.
or
Thank you.
two and it
Mhm.
has fur and it's not a people, it's a pet. And it says no pets allowed.
Pets.
Well, it's a
Hmm.
service dog. I understand and I
Yeah.
appreciate
Matter.
your service. Um, it's a support animal. I
Yeah.
understand and I support you. But this particular person said no
No. Mm-mm.
pets.
Okay. Okay.
I have one question, and it goes back to the credit score, right? And if you like are building your credit and all of a sudden your credit score drops
Mhm.
and you look at the reasons for it dropping, but none of those reasons apply to you, then who can you contact to find out why it dropped, and who can you call?
Okay, so that would be that financial advisor that you would be sitting knee to knee with. But from experience, what I've done, I just recently had this happen to me because, again, like I said, we put our current house on the market because we are getting another home. And when my mortgage lender saw my credit, he said, "What did you do?" I was like, "What are you talking about? What I did?" And when he told me, I was like, "Wait a minute." And I went and looked. And what I did, I looked at my own credit report and I saw where a previous credit card that I had closed out had missed, showed that I missed a payment in a month after I closed it out.
Close it
And I
out.
called that creditor and I
Hmm.
said, "Hey, I just need somebody to explain to me, how did I miss a payment on an
When it was
account
closed.
that's closed?
Mm-hmm.
And when they pulled the record, they were like, we don't know how that happened. We're going to fix it. They wrote the letter to the credit reporting agencies. They did the dispute for me to get that corrected. So, what I would recommend is, if you see something that's incorrect, that's when you do a dispute. And just so you'll know, you don't have to pay somebody to do this for you. Again, we have Bing, Microsoft, um, uh, Google, Ask Siri, Bixby, Alexa, how to write a letter to dispute, and send it to all the credit reporting agencies and have them research it. And if you have any supporting documents yourself, send it in and you can do that. Now, if not, then that's when I would say go get some help from a reputable credit repair company. There are some reputable companies out there. And I would tell you, check with your Better Business Bureau to get with someone that is able to help you get those types of things resolved.
But
Okay.
you couldn't call the credit bureau itself.
Call them. I've seen where you can email them, because I have not seen a phone number in a long time for these credit reporting. I know letters work because they ask you for supporting documents, but I haven't had to call a credit reporting service, so I can't say yes or no on that one.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So we've come to the end of another Sweet 915 episode. Thank you again, Miss Julie Scott, for tuning in and being a great panel member today, and Miss Fedora, for her questions, and hope she got all her questions, because I wrote down some things too. I think you gave a very good
Mhm.
format for establishing our credit and getting it right and purchasing houses and things of that nature. So tell the people where we can find you at.
If you want to get in touch with me, you can call or text me at 915-539-0524. I am Googleable. Is that a word? You can Google me, Julie Loving Scott. Also, you can go to my website, julielovingscott.com. You can put the hyphen, or if you leave the hyphen out, it should still take you to my website. And just you can reach out to me at any of those. You can follow me on Instagram at julie.loving.scott. And
Mhm.
I do have a business Facebook page, and it is Julie Loving Scott PLLC. So
Okay.
reach out to me on any of those and I will be glad to assist you.
Colorstreet.com. Oh wow.
Oh, you know what? I told your admin about that. That's something I do for fun. My husband and I, and it's also for my husband. My husband, as I told you all, is disabled,
Right.
and we. I started doing Color Street. I saw where it was peel and stick nail polish, and for me being a business professional, who wants to sit down and have to wait to dry for 45 minutes? I need something that's quick, easy, and go. So
Mhm.
when I discovered Color Street, all my husband saw was, "Ooh, I can save some more money." So it's a money saver, and it's fun. And I have, we make a little money on the side doing it. So, but yeah, Color Street is peel and stick nail polish strips, no dry time. You don't have to worry about like you can literally button your shirt afterwards. And it's something, if you go to our Color Street the Q Nail Polish website on Facebook, you'll see where we've done it together. But yet,
Okay.
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know
check
why she
that
put
out.
it there, but okay.
I'm
Yes.
gonna check it out because
Yes.
I'm challenged when it comes to nails and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna check it out
I
and
have
buy
it on
some.
right now. So,
Oh, oh, cute. Let me see again. Nice. Okay. Yep. I need something like that. So,
You need
because
and
some
I'm
it comes with
horrible with my
designs.
nails. Okay, great. Yeah, because I'm horrible with nails. I don't have time to do them, and now with the COVID, it's like I haven't gone. So yeah, they're looking a little rough. So
Mhm.
that would help.
Fedora,
Thank you. Thank you.
you have anything for the people before we close for the day? Before we end the show today?
My final words are keep loving your heart and please go vote. Make your voting plan. Go vote. Go vote. Vote like your life depends on it. It does depend on it. Vote. That's
Yep.
all I gotta say. Vote. Please.
Please vote.
Whew,
Hey,
it's
thanks
serious.
again. If you need someplace in the Far East to vote, Tuesday at off of Mountwood, 11160 Mountwood. we'll be out there having our voter registration booth set up, and you can come out there and register your kids, register yourself, change your address. We'll be out there to help you um, to get the vote in and get you registered in time to go out and vote. And
What's that address again?
I'd say yes.
11160 Mountwood Drive.
11160 Montwood Drive. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
And
we'll
what
be out
time?
there. We'll be there from 10 until like 4.
This next Saturday?
This is Tuesday. This Tuesday.
Tuesday. Oh
This
Lord
Yeah.
Tuesday.
So
Jesus.
you driving past, just come on and your lunch break, come on and I got the forms ready for you. Just sign it and I'll take it down to the courthouse and I walk it down so it's easier for you than you to mail it in. I just take it myself for you and we'll get you done
Squared
out.
away.
So subscribe to our YouTube page at Sweet 915. That way you can receive the alerts when we are live on Facebook. So and YouTube. So take the time to do that. Once again, we thank you all for tuning in today. We know it's NFL Sunday, like I said, and but we thank you for being with us. And remember to vote. Have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
Bye. Thank you all. Bye bye.